Welcome to Date Your Donors. This is Jonah Halper live at the EDS conference at not so sunny Wesley Chapel, Florida, a stone's throw away from Tampa. I am here with Rabbi Raphael Shochet, the CEO of the Torah Institute of Baltimore.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So I as someone who started my married life in Baltimore, TI, as it's often called, has a bunch of other names. So if people want to know frame of reference, like they're like, I don't know a TI, like well, maybe you know Shara right? Or also Yeshivas Kochav Yitzchak. Is this because there's always like another dedication in memory of somebody and they just sell it, or how does that evolve where you have like three different names?
I think Shara was when Rabbi Sternhill came to Baltimore. He was starting with the Shara He was starting with survivors. That was that's who it was that started the school. And he built a Yiddish-speaking cheder. And then over the years, it became Yeshivas Kochav Yitzchak after he was nifter because his sefer is called Kochav Yitzchak. And then there was some confusion, which is the yeshiva? Is the yeshiva Ner Yisrael? Is the yeshiva Kochav Yitzchak? So it became Torah Institute, which fit in very well with the Torah Academy. So there was TA and TI.
Right.
And eventually we probably will go back to the Yeshivas Kochav Yitzchak.
Okay.
That will probably be the primary name
at
some point in time.
Okay, fine.
After we finish our next capital camphain, we'll
we'll talk about capital.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on. Your school has seen such growth over the last number of years. In fact, I actually know you because I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, and you were the Rosh Kollel in Providence, Rhode Island.
Right.
And anyone who passes through Providence.
And I lived in your house.
And yes, you bought my parents' house, which was a little bit of a traumatic experience for me because my parents didn't tell me they were selling my childhood home. I didn't get to do it on the last walkthrough to say, to have say, okay, this is my house, this is my bedroom.
Right.
But
right.
I'm glad it went to you.
The tree that you used to climb down when you didn't want anybody to know where you were going.
Yes, exactly. No, we used to get in trouble because there was an apple tree in the backyard, but I think it fell down in one storm, so you could get rid of it because it was basically destroyed. But when we were kids, there was an apple tree in the backyard, and we would take the apples and use them as baseballs, and all the neighbors hated us because we would hit these small crab apples into all the surrounding yards, and then we would get phone calls. My parents would get phone calls. We'd have to go over to those houses and with our tail between our legs and pick up all the apples that we hit into their yard. They didn't like having three boys who were close in age with a lot of energy, and it was I don't think they missed us from the neighborhood so much, but it's nice living across the street from a hospital.
Yes,
because also me and my brothers were close in age, and we would send each other there regularly with split heads, and we were very physical kids.
Yeah.
So okay. So we definitely go way back. There's that connection there. Yes. But more recently, we've connected because you are the CEO of TI. Give me a little bit more background about where TI is now. How many students? What does the school look like today?
Okay, so the school has experienced some tremendous growth, especially right now. The student body, we're a little over 900, and increasing by about 35 to 40 students a year over year. So we've added a fourth track in all the grades through the fourth grade. Most people remember TI as that little cheder that had 10 kids in a class, or maybe 100 kids in the whole school. 908 kids this year.
Unbelievable.
And each year we're expanding with one more track. Probably by the time this current fifth grade that has 4 tracks graduates, we'll have a fifth track in the first grade.
Okay, so what can you attribute this to? Is this the makeup of the community has shifted over the years? Is it TI itself? They kind of found a new voice that that saw the explosion of growth. Like what is it that you can attribute this growth to?
I think there's a combination of factors, and I think that one of the main things is, first of all, the explosive growth in Baltimore itself. Baltimore, between young dynamic Rabbanim moving into town, and the expansion of the Kollel and multiple other Kollelim that are growing now in town. So Baltimore itself is experiencing somewhat, Lakewood-esque in nature, experiencing tremendous growth. I think a lot of people from the New York area are finding a place there they could get cheaper real estate, and people were moving down to a full service from community that wasn't too far away, that's right there on the East Coast, and 2.5 hours from Lakewood, 3.5 hours from New York. That works for them. And then the school itself has just transformed. New leadership has meant that the school has become a little bit more open, a little less exclusive on some level. Rabbi Hirsch, our Manal, likes to say, we need everybody to be on the same page, not necessarily on the same line. So that exposure, again, we're still looking for the same page, but it doesn't have to be the same line. Everybody, there has been expansion in that sense. And those factors together, especially, the services of the school have expanded. In the old days, perhaps the Cheder was viewed as kind of an exclusive school for Mitsuyanim, for kids that were excellent. And now, again, like every school says, we service every child on every level. But again, we'll get into that a little bit. The programs that we've created for kids that are special needs, like our Shine department, our Le'ela department, special for dyslexic kids, where we're pulling kids out. Every class has a gold classroom where if there's children who are struggling, they're pulled out, 4 or 5 kids, and educated in a sort of a smaller setting. Multiple therapists that are there in the school on a consistent basis. Our tremendous expansion in our preschool with an indoor playing gym and facilities that just have, I think chinuch in general has kind of evolved tremendously, and certainly TI has pushed itself to the cutting edge in that sense. So not only do we have the excellence that our boys are considered, a top catch for any yeshiva, any masifta around the country. TI boys are looked at as the top kids from wherever they're coming from, and really rise to the top. But on the other end of the spectrum as well, taking care of the kids that are struggling has become much more of an emphasis and much more of a focus within the school. All of that together means that the school just has expanded tremendously and has so much more potential.
That's incredible. I mean, with all of that, I would imagine, there must be some clarity about the vision and the growth, and that's being communicated to parents to say, this is somewhere I want to send my kid because I see the long-term viability there. I mean, is this getting properly communicated to the families and the parents? Like, how has this experience been? Because it sounds like all the programs and services you just said, the resources that are available, like, that's amazing. Obviously, you don't want it to be the best kept secret in the school. So how is that translated as far as like giving families that kind of like immersive experience in all the kind of good work that you're doing?
So that is the truth of the matter is that is a challenge, and like all schools, our education department is focused on the chinuch of the children, and especially because we have a very strong, I want to call it, anti-technology bias, so that the school does not have an official WhatsApp, and we're not interested in sending out videos every week or some that kind of PR. So the administrative side of the school has to work a little harder to try to bring people out there.
Culturally, it's weird to walk into a classroom with a video camera to take videos of the kid because you're not generally using technology in such a way.
And no Rebbe is going to do that for you.
Right.
You're not going to get a Rebbe that's going to
Your
take
street level
videos.
professionals are not going to do this. Like, let me take out my phone. Like, there is no my phone.
No, the Rebbe's not taking out his phone. He's not taking out those pictures. He's not sending the parent the Nachas report. He might send a phone call, and a Nachas report might come from the Rebbe, or the Manal might call him in, or give an extra faher to the child, and the child comes home with a prize, so that the parents know about that. But really, it's about communicating what we're doing, and now, especially now that we're starting on a major expansion, that's been a little bit of a focus for us, is getting the parents to come down to the school and actually see it. And we're actually surprised to see that how many parents themselves don't even really know the services. I had a parent 2 weeks ago say to somebody, yeah, my older kid, he's a Matsuyan, he's fantastic, I'm sending him to TI, but my next kid, he needs a little bit of extra. I'm not sure TI is going to be the right school for him. This parent, who happened to have, the parent he was talking to, happened to have a child in our Le'ela program, which is a program that focuses on children with dyslexia, says, are you kidding?
Right.
The top school in Baltimore for kids that are struggling, you don't want to send him anywhere else. This is the place where he has to be.
Not only can they service it, but if you have a child like this, should be your plan A. That should be
absolutely right. And that's been a lot of the focus now, to really try to get the word out. And you sort of touched on a raw nerve. You said, how are we getting the word out there? Not doing a good enough job about it. We're really focused on it. This
is a topic that many of the people who listen to the podcast or watch the videos are also schools that are not going to be using social media, are not going to be using Facebook to share updates, and they're looking for creative ways to be able to communicate the mission and the work that they're doing. And being that they're doing some amazing work, it's like a shame that it's the best kept secret. If there's stuff that can go out there in a way there is a level of like getting out of your comfort zone. What I have found with some of the organizations that I've worked with over the years, and maybe you've seen this with TI, and if not, it's definitely something you could take away, is that you're not going to change culture by saying, now we're using this technology, or now we're going to, that's not going to work.
We're not looking to do that.
Right. But even on the development side, like, okay, how do we take the things that we're seeing and share it? Like you said, it would be an awkward or uncomfortable thing to ask a Rebbe to take a video, even if it's not his own phone. But this is not their comfort zone. And many people who are listening to the podcast will be like, yeah, like, how do we do this? and more often than not, it's like taking something like, I'll give you an example. One school doesn't use the technology, but they made the decision. Okay, we have a bunch of donors who are monthly donors, and if we're going to charge their credit card once a month, we're going to send them something every month that says this is what's going on in the yeshiva right now. Right? So we're not talking about some broad-based marketing strategy that's going to cross all channels and be like a State of the Union address or anything like that. It's going to be, no. We have, let's say, 200 donors who give monthly gifts, and their credit card all gets charged at this time. And you know what? We're going to send them an email saying, thank you so much for your gift this month. This is what's going on right now. And now what's going to happen is that becomes the avoda. That becomes the work is like, okay, for this audience, we're going to do something for them. And it might be just like a picture. It might be some copy. It might be a specific story. Right? That isn't going to require a major technology lift, and we're going to do that. And what will happen, and what I happen secretly will happen, is it'll be like the response to that kind of experience for those donors to be like, oh, that was great. Who else can we send this to? Right. Or who else can get that kind of experience? And then it'll start pushing it out to a wider audience, and the comfort level will increase. So because you're not going to come in guns blazing, loose cannon on a rolling deck. It's got to have like here's like a very narrow place that we think that this audience would appreciate it, and let's do something that's humble, nothing crazy and grandiose, something that could just show them what's going on at the cheder, and see what happens. And I think that when we have like usually there's sometimes a board member will come to us and say, it kills me that we're not sending stuff out to our donors, but I know the Rosh Yeshiva are not comfortable with sending the stuff out. Right. So my recommendation is usually like, try to get something like that in. Like if you do something that's like, and then the Rosh Yeshiva or the Hanhala will go, like, okay, that's not crazy. We're not sending out a mass email to everybody. You're sending it to 200 people who are donors, who are already involved, and they're going to get this update. And then hopefully, if that goes well, then they see how responsive people are, and that it's not making crazy waves. Then we can stretch that out further. Right. Or like we have another school that you're not going to send a video if it's a boys' school or a girls' school, or usually more a girls' school, to all the grandparents. But if there's like a class that's doing something like a siyum or like a Haskalas Chumash or something like that, for those grandparents who are in that class, to give them a private link so they can see a video of their kids perform, sometimes that might be more comfortable. Right. So trying to, in a much more narrow scope, do that, and then see if you can, over time, broaden it. So
and I think along those lines, one of the ideas that we really are trying to focus on is find a particular personal story, not just general. We have a Layla program, but here's a child in our Layla program. Here's what he accomplished.
What's the Layla program?
Our Layla program is for kids with dyslexia.
Oh, okay.
So kids that struggle, they need a specific training in how to recognize and be able to read and get them up to par, grade level reading. So that's it for that, just as an example. Or in our Shine program, or even in one of our programs of where they're excellent. Or, for instance, our Haschalas Gemara. We bring all the parents and grandparents to the school. We have a big Haschalas Gemara. One of the local Rabbanim comes to town, introduces, every child goes up there. The Rav gives him his new Gemara. They go upstairs and they learn with their father and their grandfather. They come downstairs again with a little bit of a reception and a dancing. And then we can send out pictures of that kind of thing, where it's geared to that one grade. The fifth grade, they're starting Haschalas Gemara. That's really where.
So you're giving an immersive experience to a particular audience and a particular framework, instead of just spamming everybody.
Right. And the same thing, even on WhatsApp, if we're not sending it out, but we'll give it to the parents and say, here, share this, put this on your status.
Right.
If somebody knows what a status
school
is.
status, but it could be on
your status, and privately you're sharing what this event and something that's going out there. That's something that we can focus on and allow people that experience to see what's actually happening. Or now that we started a capital campaign, we're bringing people down to school for a tour.
Right. Nothing beats the on-site tour.
There you go.
Especially when kids are
walk from room to room, loaded with kids. 900 kids in a building that was built for 500. There's a corner left in the building that's not being used. A gym that's overcrowded. We talk a little bit with Kolram in there, and the promotion
you get two things. You get to see this totally great energy and all the kids there, and you see the need, because the kids are so packed in tight. Right. You see
and we've had parents come down and say, oh, wow. First of all, even though we've been in our current building for 25 years, we have people like, oh, I always thought the Sheriff's Plate, TI was like this backroom school. Right. Oh, wow, you guys actually have a beautiful facility. And it's packed, and there's no room. Yeah. I couldn't find anywhere to park my car.
Jeez, that's incredible. Yeah, no, there's a lot of
it's like-
preconceived notion.
yeah,
And you say you walk in there, you're like, oh, wow, no, this is a serious operation.
Yeah,
That's
So
amazing. Okay, so obviously the immersive experience is incredibly important. Seeing is believing. Bringing them in to experience the programs. Have teachers or the frontline professionals been helpful in any way? Are they do they communicate up the chain of command as far as potential donors, how to communicate? Is there any kind of
I think that some of them are. We have some Rebbe. All of our. Again, I'm the number one advocate of our Rebbe. We have
you're
a
the super fan.
phenomenal Rebbe.
Of course.
We have an amazing staff and a manal that is beloved throughout the community and a well-respected educator. And but some of them are more creative and more especially more technically adept than others. But even our old school Rebbeim that have been there for many years. Again, the boys relate to them on such a personal level. They have such a personal interest in each and every one of their talmidim. It's just transformative for them. So that's really. Is there any one? Will a Rebbe really say, "Oh, you should speak to this donor or talk to this parent"?
Right. It's never that overt.
It's not going to be that overt. But we do have. We definitely have the feeling that. The Rebbeim care about the school. The Rebbeim care about the cheder. This is their makom. This is their place, and they're very. The boys are very responsive. They feel very close to the Rebbeim. I mean, I have a son who graduated 3 years ago and still calls his 8th grade Rebbe every week.
Oh, that's incredible.
Just to say good Shabbos.
Wow.
And I don't think he's the only one.
Right.
It's so it's just that those kind of relationships that the Rebbeim develop. We have Rebbeim who have had their own personal challenges, health issues, and things like that. And the boys feel like this is like their fault. You see how they feel in that kind of expression where we had a Rebbe had a cardiac issue a few years ago. And when the day he came back to the yeshiva, the day he walked back to the cheder, the dancing in the gym, just the absolute joy it was just transfer. You just see this. It's incredible.
I am seeing this in some schools where the life after the school is still very strong. Like so there's one school that focus on hadracha, like when they get married. Who should, the advice on that? If, God forbid, they have to get divorced, they talk to the Rebbeim about that. The issues in business, they talk to the Rebbeim about that. And I think sometimes, we think very linearly about, okay, what are we going to share with people about our school and share what the kids are doing right now? But the answer is really like you're setting these kids up for long-term success. And the fact that they stay tied to the school and that they're going to their Rebbeim that they developed a strong connection to during their K through 8 years or even beyond that of high school or yeshiva, whatever it is,
right.
And they still go to them for life advice and practical ways, not just like cerebral academic ways, but in ways that are like how do I get on in this life and come to them for advice. I think a lot more schools are showcasing that aspect of it to say that if you want to see the real testament to our school and our school success, look at how our students still actively connect with the teachers who they've had, the people who they view as surrogate parents in a way, and confidants and people who they can go to and trust and help them in all aspects of their life. So when some donors are going to give to an organization or give to a school, for some people, it's academic excellence is not going to be their thing. But to say that you're creating fine young men who are able to go out in this world and still kind of be rooted back into the DNA of the school that they came from, that can be very, very powerful. And sometimes we just need to communicate that aspect, not just the what's going on in the school now, but how they are continuing on. It's a feature.
Yeah.
It's not a bug. It's not an unusual thing. It's something it's a designed piece into it. Right. And sometimes it's a matter of like, no, don't forget to show an immersive experience with people who are today leaning on. And like I said, it doesn't even always have to be the good things. It can be the challenges. People have challenges in their marriage and the kids, and they go for advice from the Rebbeim, and that speaks volumes about the connection to the school. So the fact that your son still calls his Rebbe every Friday, that's a great litmus test for the fact that you're putting out boys who are really connected and engaged.
Right. They go back for the Sukkah's party every year to the Rebbe's Sukkah or wherever it is that they're connected.
And by the way, that's a perceived challenge too, because people often will say, "Oh, K through 8, they really maintain their relationship with the high school Rebbeim and the yeshiva." Everyone else has the edge. Like, oh, the people in the yeshiva say, "Yeah, but their formative experiences were like when they were a kid and they love their Rebbe." So, but I think that there's a lot to be said. No matter what type of school, whether you're K through 8, 9 through 12, base matters, kollel. it's all different stages of life, and we're going to find we're going to connect with people in different ways, and we just have to make sure to communicate when we have great value, we have to communicate it to our audience with whatever resources and whatever tools that we have, we can use.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Rabbi Schochet, thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
A lot of
Thank you.
hatzlacha on the building. It's an ambitious project. Making room for a lot more students. You said your current building is how many students? How can it handle
900? Well, it was built for 500. So
built for 500, and you've got 900 kids in the school,
now.
and you're of course anticipate going over 1,000 in the near future.
We're hoping that we're building for the next generation, so we'll build up to 1,300 for up to 1,300 students. So
that's incredible.
That's really the. Hopefully, we don't get there too soon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You don't want to finish putting the final nail in the building and then say we're out of room. I know. Okay.
Absolutely.
Rabbi Schochet, thank you so much for your time today.
All right, thanks, Jonah.